Okay, good morning, everyone. I know we're still kind of coming in this morning, but some of you came really early. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Jamie Fukui, and I'm one of the care committee members here. And I would like to introduce Dr. Kainoa Ravella, who's going to give us a little bit of an introduction and blessing for this area.
Aloha e, aloha e, aloha e na akua, aloha e na amakua, aloha e na ali'i o Hawaii, aloha e na kupuna, aloha e na makua, aloha e ka lehu lehu, aloha e. Aloha mai kākou, aloha kakahiaka, o Marie Kainoa Filkowski Rivella, ko inoa. Velina mai ke aloha, I ka ili aina ka akau kukui. Hana wau, me ka kulanui o Hawaii Cancer Center, he alaka'i o ka Nutrition Support Shared Resource ma ke ia Cancer Center. So just good morning. Hello, everyone. Mahalo, Jamie, for the introduction. Really grateful to welcome you all to this place, this Aina, that we get to enjoy time with you this morning. Many people call this Aina kaka'ako, but I want to remind ourselves of what the land's name is actually Ka'akau Kukui. So if everybody could repeat after me and say Ka'akau Kukui. Ay, mahalo. So my kumu taught me that the only way to make something pa'a, to make something stick, is you have to say it out loud. Okay, so ho'opilimai one more time. Ka'akau Kukui. Ay, mahalo. Beautiful. And so, I just want to mahalo our kupuna, our ancestors, for all their stewardship of this land, this ili aina, this stretch of the ahupua'a of Honolulu. We are in the moku of Kona. The winds that run through this land are referred to as ku kala hale, and our rain is called kiovau. And a long, long time ago, before all of this existed, this land was very productive agriculturally, which is so great being here that we're gathering to think about nutrition and diet. This land had abundant lo'ikalo taro fields. It was abundant in pa'apa'akai, salt pans, and there were local ia fish ponds that were here on this land. And so just wanted to share some of these older images so that we can reflect back on all the bounty this land provided. Also want to share that there were two inland springs, freshwater springs. You all may be familiar with these names. One of the springs was Kewalo, and the other one was Kauaiha'o. And so those were the springs that nurtured this land. I also want to remind us that this land is a part of the greater territory we refer to as Papahanaumoku, our ancestral grandmother, and that our queen, Lio'olani, she surrendered this land under protest and in duress to save her people. And so we're very grateful for her sacrifice. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that each moment we're able to be here in Hawaii, we're able to breathe her air, to eat from her soils, to drink from her waters, to bathe in her sun, to swim in her oceans, to be kissed by her rains, and to be embraced by her winds is a great privilege and honor. I would like to just acknowledge and mahalo all of our ancestors who shaped Hawaii in the ways in which we're able to continue to enjoy those gifts today. And I'm just grateful that it's my honor, my privilege, my responsibility to care for this Aina for our next 7 generations. And I welcome all of you to also join me in that important endeavor. So mahalo, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that centering and grounding for today's event. I would like to now introduce our Cancer Center Director, Dr. Ueno, to say a few words before we start our event today.
Okay, aloha. All right, good morning, everybody. Jamie, thank you very much for the introduction. It will not be a few words, okay? So, my name is Naoto Ueno. I'm the Cancer Center Director. So, welcome to our diet and nutrition for cancer journey. So, very exciting. More than 200 people has registered, and it's exciting to see all of you in the same room. So, I want to really recognize faculty, staff, volunteers, speakers, and I want you to give a round of applause to making this happen, okay? And special mahalo for Peter Hirano. He's standing over there. So he's a husband of Susan Hirano and founder of Susan C. Cancer Care Community for this. And his critical support and his commitment really makes a difference. So the event makes a really important part of the Cancer Center. The mission, we have a mission at the Cancer Center to save lives in Hawaii and the Pacific. So for many years, Cancer Center has been focusing on variety of research. And we don't do research in sake of research. We do research to make a difference. Some of the cancer prevention activities or treatment was developed here, but it's hard to see. And we really want to have a much more transformative activity, which is really connecting with the community. So this is really about clinical, linking the clinical activities. So that means that we, like this activities that we're doing is part of it. The second is that we're going to be opening what we call the Early Phase Clinical Research Center in coming March. And this means that innovative treatment is going to be coming here so that people do not have to leave the island and they could stay here. Now, you have to remember that people who could leave the island is very fortunate. More than 90% will not be able to afford, going over there and staying over there. Treatment generally takes a lot more time, and you have to commit to a certain location. So we want you to stay with your Aina or wherever you live and connect to your land, as Kainoa was talking about. That makes a big difference. So I want to talk about diet. So when I was going through my treatment, I was not able to eat probably about 4 months. And I couldn't eat because my brain didn't function. I didn't want to eat. And the other is if my entire esophagus and my mouth was ulcers, it was painful. So the things I wanted to eat, not those. So I was in the hospital. So I don't like hospital food unless you like it. But from the beginning, I don't like eating at the hospital. So every day I ate fran. Okay, so pudding. Okay, and so I don't want to eat expensive. I'm sorry, Kainoa, or the dietitian. I didn't want to eat expensive one or homemade because it was too thick, too much milk product. I want those cheap one. Diluted one. So I ate pudding pretty much every day. My wife bought the cheap pudding every day to the point the convenience store in the hospital ran out of the pudding. But it was part of my diet and it was my way of survival. And I enjoy eating pudding. So we all have a different, sometimes we will give you a strict nutritional content, but we have to also understand the context that you're in, and we want to make a difference. So today's topic is about diet and nutrition. not about pudding or things I'm talking about, much more high level things. We want you to take that knowledge and we want you to apply this. And I think that's what the cancer care community is about, learning from each other. I know that we have a lot of good people presenting things, but you should ask questions. If it doesn't make sense, ask why. Okay. And then I want you to understand that this is your cancer center. You're part of our family. This building, the people that you're interacting is for you. And we're here to help you. And if you need help, okay, please reach out to the staff and I will help you to bring better care for your cancer related. Don't contact me for cold or cardiac issue, but I will help you with cancer. So mahalo nui loa again. Truly appreciate coming and taking your time this morning. I'm honored to be with you. Thank you.
Good morning. Aloha mai kako. Aloha. My name is Esme Infante, and I am the Director of Communications here at the UH Cancer Center. It is very much my privilege to speak to you today. We are, as Dr. Ueno said, extremely excited because today, combined in this room as well as online, we have over 200 people signed up today to participate. So we're very excited to create and build and strengthen this community. I just was curious before I do my short presentation, I want to see by a show of hands, how many of you is this your first time either being at the Cancer Center or learning about the Cancer Center? Just get, ooh, a lot of people. Okay, fabulous, fantastic. Okay, for that reason, I want to say an extra welcome. And would you all please take just 30 seconds and introduce yourself to someone near you so that we can start building those connections? Just take 30 seconds. Go ahead. Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm so glad we're starting to build those connections. Our Susan C. Hirano Cancer Care community is all about building connections, building community. So we hope that you will start to think of this place as your people, your community, okay? All right, so I'm so glad you guys are enjoying yourselves. Wonderful. Okay, so because of our very tight schedule, my job this morning is to tell you about a little bit more about how our cancer center is saving lives in Hawaii and the Pacific. This is a very quick and simple overview of what our UH Cancer Center does, especially since many people are new to our center. And because of our tight schedule, I'm going to go very quickly. However, you must memorize everything because there will be a quiz after we're done. All right, so very quickly, let me just talk about our center. So if you are here for the first time, you might not realize that we are where we are and what our center looks like as a whole. So this is a bird's eye view. Of course, we are on the same campus as JABSOM over there, but we have the better view. Shh. We face the ocean, gorgeous views from the upper level. And this is a glimpse of some of believe it or not, this is just a fraction of the number of people who work for the UH Cancer Center here in Kaka'ako in this building. We have 300 faculty and staff who are based here. We also have an additional 200 affiliate faculty and other related partnerships and organizations that work with us through the Hawaii Cancer Consortium, which I'll talk about in a moment. But these are some of the happy faces that work here. And I have to tell you, it is such an honor, not only as a UH graduate, not only as Kikioka Aina, born and raised here in Hawaii, but also as someone who has been touched in my family directly by cancer as well. It's an honor to work with these very passionate, very knowledgeable and caring people. So a little bit about our Cancer Center. This is a very simplified view of what the Cancer Center does. Most of our activities, not all, fall into 3 major buckets. So on the left-hand side, you have research there. And that's the work we do in the labs, right? Discovering cancer causes, developing new drugs and protocols. But research also includes things like what we call population sciences, where we go out and we study what are the trends, which ethnic groups are getting the most cancer, why is that? And we study things like that. that in research as well. In the middle, you have clinical trials and treatments, and this is our effort to provide the best care possible close to home. Dr. Ueno talked a little bit about our Ho'ola Early Phase Clinical Research Center, which is falls under that, in that bucket. And then on your far right there, you have prevention, education, and support, raising awareness in our community, helping people to reduce cancer risk, and supporting the cancer journey. And that's where events like this, programs like this, the cancer care community falls in that bucket. A little bit about our center. Not everybody realizes that we have a world-class cancer center right here in Kaka'ako. On the left, I'm sorry, your left, is the NCI designation. That's the National Cancer Institute seal up there. And the National Cancer Institute designation means rigor and excellence. Our designation, we are one of only 73 NCI designated cancer centers in the US. That puts us in the top 4% of 1,800 cancer centers across the nation. We are the only NCI designated cancer center in Hawaii and the Pacific. And a little bit more about that. So we just recently, last year, renewed our full 5-year NCI designation with the best score in our center's history. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Our hardworking faculty and staff, they're amazing. We were also named as an outstanding cancer center. That's how well the center scored. We are the only NCI designated cancer center focused on cancers that disproportionately affect our particular unique populations in Hawaii. So for example, we are the only cancer center studying cancer in Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders and Filipinos. And Dr. Ueno was up here earlier. I have been told when I've gone to national conferences that we are the only NCI designated cancer center led actually by a 2-time cancer survivor. So that makes a difference in the way that Dr. Ueno sees our mission and what we do in the community. Thank you. Yes, please, round of applause for Dr. Ueno. Thank you for that. A quick look at our kuleana, our responsibility here at the UH Cancer Center. We are responsible not only for Hawaii, but for the Usapi nations as well, the US affiliated Pacific Islands. And there's a list over here on your right-hand side: Samoa, Mariana Islands, Micronesia, Guam, Marshall Islands, and Palau. We have the largest catchment area, or in other words, the largest area of kuleana of all of the NCI designated cancer centers. It is a big responsibility that we take very seriously. Now, I only have like about a minute more. It's impossible to sum up everything that this cancer center does. These are just a few examples. At any given time, about 100 ongoing studies of all different kinds going on in this center. We have scores of public education and scientific events, including the Cancer Care Community Series. We administer about 90% of those clinical trials that people receive through our partner hospitals, such as Hawaii Pacific Health System or Queens. If you are receiving a clinical trial through one of those organizations, most likely we are the ones who are administering that. We publish hundreds of research articles annually. Some of our jewel, our gem, crown jewel research includes the multi-ethnic cohort study, and that one is the largest multi-ethnic study in the world of cancer trends per ethnic groups. The Hawaii Tumor Registry keeps track of what's happening with cancer in Hawaii specifically. We are also looking at unique natural resources from our land and sea in Hawaii to try to develop novel treatments for cancer. We also have all kinds of outreach, including our Ku'ola Mobile Clinic, which is a new, fully decked out mobile van that can go out into rural and underserved areas. We also have our Skin Check van that is very commonly seen now at a lot of community festivals and large events. So if you ever see any of our mobile vehicles out there for the Cancer Center, please stop by and say hello. We're trying to reach as many people as possible for sure. Dr. Ueno mentioned one of our big game changers, but this is, it's very exciting to work for the Cancer Center right now because we are, even though this center has been around as an operation for over 5 decades, right now it's like we're on a precipice. Changing, transforming the cancer care infrastructure statewide is a huge vision of this center and Dr. Ueno's. So he mentioned the Ho'ola Early Phase Clinical Research Center that's opening early next year. That's going to be a huge game changer because for the first time in Hawaii history, those phase 1 clinical trial treatments that people go to the mainland for, now you have an opportunity to have them here and you can stay home. And people who can't afford it, yes, thank you. Big round of applause for all the people who made Ho'ola possible at all. That's going to be a big game changer. We are expanding the Hawaii Cancer Consortium to the neighbor islands. You see our partners here, Queens, Hawaii Pacific Health, etc., Kuakini Adventist, Castle, and HMSA, and the John A. Burns School of Medicine. And we recently added Hilo Benioff as well. And so this is part of the vision to make cancer care more equitable across the entire state. We also are kicking off Ka'umeke Lama, which is in development, an academic oncology program with which we are working with JABSOM. And that is, you know how we are so short of oncologists in Hawaii. This program will be Hawaii's first program to produce our own oncologists here in the islands, so that hopefully they get their cancer training here and stay here and stay here. We don't keep losing our good potential oncologists to the mainland. And finally, among the new game changers, the Susan C. Hirano Cancer Care Community, because again, we acknowledge that we cannot only watch the science and apply to the science, but also we want to empower and support our patients in our community. A little bit more, I just want to talk real briefly about the cancer care community. So it is designed, of course, for cancer patients, survivors, caregivers, and families. We are trying to build this community, empower you, support you. We are doing free quarterly events. And of course, again, a round of applause, please, for Peter Hirano and Susan Hirano. Where'd Peter go? Is Peter still here? Oh, there he is. If you were lucky to meet Susan, you know why we always have to mention her with great fondness. Sorry. Thank you, sorry. Susan had the vision for this cancer care community, and she fought for it to the very end. And so it is with great pride and honor that we present events like this and acknowledge Susan and Peter. So just a few looks at, a few other scenes. This is some photos from our last event. And of course, like all programs, community programs, we run on support, right? So if you are compelled, you feel compelled at the end to make a donation or in any way support or even volunteer, whatever it is, we have folks that can help you with that, or you can just scan our QR code. But we are very grateful for any type of support that we receive for any of our programs. So ultimately, our goal here at the Cancer Center is to help everyone live well, receive the best cancer care right here in Hawaii. And your world-class Cancer Center is helping to make that happen. Cancer patients should not have to leave Hawaii in order to get that life-saving treatment. And we are working to reduce cancer mortality, definitely to save lives in Hawaii and the Pacific. So we continue to work toward that goal. And we appreciate you as a community. Thank you so much. So mahalo for your involvement and your support.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, Esme. So I'm going to briefly just go over today, and I wanted to first describe what it is a little bit different this year. So last year we had an Ohana Pink event that was really focused on breast cancer and research, because patients kept asking, what's going on at the Cancer Center? How can we learn more about breast cancer research? We're pivoting a little bit because we're folding this Ohana Pink event into the cancer care community program. And as Esme nicely talked about Susan's legacy for this, and what Susan used to say is, legacy is not what you leave behind, but what you inspire in others. And so this event is really from feedback from all of you who have discussed with us, and also done the surveys to say what is interesting to you, what you would like to learn about. So this diet nutrition for the cancer journey is part of that. We all are here to help. So pink shirts, blue shirts, please ask us questions. We're here for you, whatever it is. And we have a lot going on today. Overall, it's going to be 2 speakers, wonderful speakers. And in just a moment, Kainoa is going to introduce the first speaker. We're going to have a cooking demonstration. There are posters around here, nonprofits, as well as a farmer's market outside. So please stay till the very end because we do have also a drawing for some special produce. So without further ado, I'm going to have Kainoa introduce our first speaker.
So I'm so honored to be able to introduce Auntie Ka'iolani Odom. Ever since I became, when I initiated my path in life, and the work that Auntie Ka'iu does is just so amazing and inspiring. And I just hope I can, continue to support all of the work that she's doing. I'm just so blessed. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna stop talking because then I won't stop. So Auntie Ka'iu has been working in the field for over 30 plus years. She's a cultural practitioner, a kumuhula, a Native Hawaiian registered dietitian. She specializes in aikupele, nutrition from a cultural perspective. She's worked in wellness, education, culinary, research, Department of Health, land-based healing. She has done it all. She's currently the executive director of the Hawaii Good Food Alliance, whose members passionately work for a thriving local and sustainable food system. When it comes to the food and health of our land and our people, we move forward by looking back and honoring our elders, traditions, and culture. So really inspired by all the work that she does. Recently, in 2025, she was honored by Hawaii Business Magazine with the 2025 Agriculture Clean Tech Entrepreneur Award. So mahalo, Auntie Ka'iu, for joining us this Saturday morning.
Aloha, everybody. Mahalo for getting up so early on a Saturday morning. I told Kainoa, who has events at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning? So thank you all for being here. As she said, my name is Ka'iolani Odom. I am a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a great-grandmother, I'm a dietitian, I'm a kumuhula, I'm a hula dancer, I'm a cultural practitioner, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. And so it's part of me, but it's not my whole life. Just a little bit about my journey. About 4 years ago, I hadn't had a mammogram in about 8 or 9 years, I think. And always too busy, just put it off, didn't want to do it. And luckily my doctor, their office just kept bugging me. That's what you calling me up. So I'm like, okay, I'll go in. And didn't think much of it. And then they're like, called me back and said, you need to come back for a biopsy. We see something. And you really never expect that call, right? It's such a shock. So I went back, did the biopsy, and I was actually leaving for Vegas that night to go see my daughter and her family who lives there. And they said, well, you'll get the results in about 3 days. And so I was staying there for a little bit over a week. And so every time the phone rang, I was on pins and needles, like, is this it? Is this it? Never called me. And so I'm like, well, I'm with them. I don't want to deal with this right now. I'll wait till I get back. And then even after I get back, never got a call. So a couple of weeks later, I called the office, and I was told then that it was positive. And so again, for all of you that have had this kind of diagnosis, you know what it's like to just be waiting and waiting, and that tension and that fear that kind of just sits right below you. And so, being a boss, I run an organization, like, I'm goal-oriented. Okay, we got this diagnosis. What are we going to do? And then I was told, well, you can't call the surgeon. You got to let the surgeon call you. And so again, I'm sitting there waiting and thinking, I want to do something. So luckily, within the health system, within the field that I ran, I immediately called my friends that are La'au Lapa'au practitioners. What can we do? Need to get my body strong. What can we do? And my friend said, I will get you your medicine tonight. I'll drop it off. And so I started taking my Hawaiian medicine. I called my naturopath, and I've always had regular doctors and a naturopath. And I'll be really honest, the reason I keep my naturopath is she uses food as the first prescription. And one of my soapboxes that I'm often on is I really think the medical system, which is doctors and nurses and even social workers, need to have more nutrition in their education. Many of them take one course, if anything. I know there's others that take more, but for what I'm still seeing in our medical system, the amount of drug education they take compared to the nutrition education is very not balanced. And so they want to treat you with drugs most times instead of nutrition. Well, my naturopath, we always talk about what foods are going to be the first things I go to. So I've always kept both the Western medical and the naturopath. And so we immediately started on a journey to say, we don't even know what the diagnose, like we don't even know where, we just know that you have breast cancer. We don't know anything else, but let's start healing your body. Let's start getting your body ready for all that. And so we started with a nutrition plan and a couple of supplements. And then I got to go see the surgeon, great surgeon, and stage 1 breast cancer. And this was in November. Well, you can't, okay, so let's take it out. Let's get it. And no, the operation can be scheduled at the end of January. So now I've got 2 months, 3 months to really think about this. So decide to really focus on getting my body ready, getting my body strong. And I have to say that had I not been in the work that I was doing and understood the medical system, I can understand how you can be just feeling kind of hopeless. And what do I do? And so for all of us that, I mean, the lesson for me was, you know, you have to be in charge. You have to move forward. You have to take this into your own hands. I mean, from the doctors to the practitioners, everybody that helped me was great, but it was siloed. I had to piece it all together myself. And so we scheduled, I continued to even take my la'au and for the Hawaiian medicine, and they said, we can make it all for you. And I said, no, I need to have a hand in it. The more of my mana I put into it, the better it will be for me. So while I'm not going to be able to go up and pick it on a regular basis, if you just gather it for me, and it was dropped off for me on a regular basis at my house. And I will make it. I will prepare it. I will clean it. I will, and I will take it. So I did that. And then came time for the surgery, and I started taking a homeopathic pain relief, pain medicine 2 days before. And the day of the surgery, it was a 4-hour surgery, and got through the surgery fine. But that anesthesia kicked my butt. Like I could not get up. I could not get, and they're like, well, I was out in there like 1, and it's like 8 at night. Everyone's gone. There's just me there. And they're like, well, you know, if you can't get up and go to the bathroom, do all of this, you got to stay in the hospital overnight. I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, I'm going home. And so we need to do something about this. So my friend that was picking me up was actually a Reiki healer. And I asked them to please allow her into the hospital, into the recovery room with me so that she could work with me. And so she worked with me, and within an hour I could get up and I could move, and I could go home. And the other thing is I really didn't want a hospital bill. I didn't know what the surgery was going to cost. The heck I want a hospital bill after that. I wanted to go home. And so I got home about 12 o'clock at night, and got up at 6 the next morning. At that point in time, my pain level was a 2 or 3 after a 4-hour surgery. And so I never had to take any of the pain pills. I don't like all the heavy duty narcotics. They just don't make me feel well. And so I was determined not to have to do that. And the other thing that my naturopath did for me is said, okay, before you go into surgery, I want you to prepare these foods. We're going to make a lot of heavy green soups with a lot of organic greens and some organic bone broths, things that will help your body. Get those, freeze them, put them in there. So luau and kale and just all these things. I just made all these green soups in portions so I could just take it out. And she said, okay, now go make some orange soups, pumpkins and carrots and all of those things that will bring you vitamin A. Put them in serving size, put in your freezer, and then make some purples. Go get, acai and blueberries and all of these things and blend them up and freeze them. You can add a little bit of coconut milk, put in your freezer so that when you come out, you immediately have things to start replenishing your body. Because, after surgery, you don't want to cook, and you may or may not have family or friends that will come by and help that. So I started eating those immediately. The other thing she told me to do was at the time of my surgery to gather all those that were close to me, to let them know what time my surgery was, and to have them pule or send good thoughts or do whatever. And so at work, from my hula sisters, from some of my other groups, everybody at the time of my surgery was in prayer for me. And so it took like this whole wraparound effort for me to travel my cancer journey. And I feel lucky that I have this type of resources and that I have these types of friends and that I worked in a place that could provide this. And I wish that everybody could, do that. And so what I wanted to share with you is really my view of nutrition in all of this, because I believe that, whether it's before, whether it's getting ready, or whether it's after, that nutrition plays an essential part in our body, in our healing, and being preventive about it. And I'm not fanatic about things at all. Like, I try and eat healthy as best as I can, but I enjoy foods, and I don't like to label things healthy or unhealthy, because I feel like even just giving them that power in your body is not good. So I just eat the best I can. And, life's a spectrum. You make these choices along the spectrum every single day. And you just try and choose along the spectrum. I want to say shout out to Tammy, who's going to be doing the cooking demo. You guys are lucky. We have worked side by side for many, many years, and understand that the cultural context of our food is not just about the healing within the ingredients, but because it ties us to our kupuna, our ancestors, it ties us to our stories, it ties us to our land, it ties us to all of these other things that are not protein, fat, carbohydrates, and minerals. Our food ties us to all of these types of things. And so how do we use our food so that we're feeding ourselves both physically, spiritually, and emotionally? And so this is our Pohaku Ku'iai Pono. This is something that Solomon Enos drew up for us when we were doing nutrition education. And if you look at it on the bottom level, you'll see what we call complex carbohydrates. On which side is it for? So on this side is all of our cultural carbs, our kalo and our ulu and our uala and all of those. These are really the best carbohydrates that you can have. They're as unprocessed as you can possibly eat them. Most of them grow on I believe things that grow on the very earth that we're walking on have feel the same winds and get the same rain and hear the same stories, and they're the best thing for our body when we can choose them. And so the more whole your carbohydrates can be, the better it is for you. The more processed they are, they're not good for you. My mom she's 90, she just had knee replacement surgery. And I was actually quite surprised. Her physician gave her a diet before she went into surgery to start and for after. And it's a low inflammation diet, but she had to cut out sugar. She had to cut out rice. She had to cut out all these things while she's healing. And so I'm really happy to see that we're thinking about food from the spectrum again, from prevention to healing. So anyway, complex carbohydrates, the more unprocessed they are, the better they are for you. The closest they are to the form that they grow on the earth, the better they are for you. And so those are complex carbohydrates. We do need them in our body. They do a lot of great things in our body. And so we want to have some every day in our body. They also help with our gut flora. And so the type of carbohydrates you eat affect the flora in your body. And so you want to be having good, healthy ones. The next level up is our fruits and vegetables. And we say eat a rainbow. And so your greens, your orange, your yellows, your purples, and that's why the rainbow's there. And I recommend that you eat at least 9 servings a day as a preventative. And so half a cup, usually a serving. And my recommendation, and this is my personal recommendation, is that however many you eat, so if you're eating 9, you'd have 5 vegetables at least, and 4 fruits. So always a little bit more vegetables than fruits, because fruits also carry a lot of sugar with them. And it's a healthy sugar in fruits, but sometimes we can overdo it. So like jamba juice, if you knew how much sugar was in that jamba juice and maybe like 8 fruits, would you sit there and eat those 8 fruits all at once? You wouldn't. But you can drink it real fast. And so I also recommend that we not have as much of it liquefied, and that we try and eat the whole fruit, because then you get the peel and you get the whole essence, you get everything. So at least 9 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Try to have more vegetables than you have fruits. When you move up a level, you have your calcium. It's often labeled as dairy, but Hawaiians didn't have cows. And so we didn't drink dairy, but all of our skeletons that have been dug up have been very, very healthy. So we knew within our diet, within the poi, within the luau, within the fish that were cooked in the imu, that we had enough calcium to make us very, very healthy. So you can choose dairy products, but you can also get calcium from other sources. And so you get to choose how you want to do it. You just need to make sure that you get it in your diet on a regular basis. Right next to that, you'll usually see beef and chicken and stuff. What I believe is the essence of that group is protein. So animal or non-animal protein. You want to get it as clean as possible. So I always tell people, would you kill a cow and put it on the shelf for 2 years and go back and eat it? And everyone goes, no. But essentially what we do with all of our canned meats or processed meats, unless it says no nitrite, but really the animals are flesh just like you and me. And so in order to eat the flesh and save it for 2 years, you got to put chemicals and salt and things that aren't as healthy. So I do recommend that we limit our intake of that and try and find the ones without nitrate. And I will be the first to admit that when I'm coming from Hawaii, my grandchildren asked me to bring them spam musubi from 7-Eleven. So it's not a perfect world. We do the best we can, you know. I'm like, what? They're like, we missed the spam musubi from 7-Eleven. So I actually have a recipe for spam that if you folks are interested in, you can ask Kainoa and I'll share it for you. And we used to make this at Roots Cafe where I used to work at KKV in it. We used the pork from out in Waianae, Two Ladies Farm, ground pork, some organic garlic, organic sugar, a little bit, it calls for potato starch, but we were working with tapioca at that time, cassava. So we used our own cassava. And then I did use 8 ounces of nitrate-free ham. And you blend it all together and you cook it, and it doesn't have all of the other junk that spam does. Yeah, and so and you just put it in your oven and with a little pan of water and steam it for 3 or 4 hours, and you can make all the spam musubi you want out of that one. Okay. And then the top is our fats. And so fats often get a bad rap, but we need fats in our diet. They actually serve a lot of purpose. So you'll see the coconut and the avocado and the macadamia and olive oil. These are all the healthier fats for you. The ones on the other side are ones that you just don't want to be eating all the time. And I'm not saying never to eat it, but I always think of eating, defensively. You want to eat what you know are really good for your body all the time. And if you have, you want to have ice cream, you want to have something, go ahead and do it. But go back to eating all these preventive foods. And so that the majority of your foods are all the ones that are preventive in the body. And the other ones are ones that just make you happy once in a while. And so that's okay too. What you see in the mountains are faces, and these are faces of our ancestors. And so no matter what ethnicity you come from, if you go back 2 generations and say, what were my grandparents and great-grandparents eating? That would give you a clue to what was good for your family, for your diet. What did they eat all the time? It's definitely not what we're eating today. We take a lot of history. And the one thing that we notice is that people are cooking a lot less today. And so when we aren't cooking our food and we rely on other people to cook our food, we are not in control of what gets put in our food. And the biggest help for me is really prepping food into making things in advance. So I always have things to grab from, because otherwise around 3 or 4 o'clock, I know in the afternoons, if I don't have something, I will grab whatever, is around me at work. And so prepping food is also very good. You'll see people working out in the field. And so that's also a reminder that, healthy food takes work. We've become a society that wants boneless, skinless chicken thighs or fish that are, just the fillets. We don't even use the whole animal anymore. And so one of the things that KKV and actually Tammy's brother used to come and teach our kids is how to use a whole fish. Make soup with the head and bones. You did the fillets. So you could, use all of the parts of the animal. It didn't go to waste. And that's another thing that we're trying to encourage people to do, is to learn how to use it. And the bones of chickens make really good bone broth. And so get your whole chickens and do all of that. You'll see people exercising. Just a reminder that daily exercise, doing something you enjoy and something you love, is what we recommend. And then if you can see, there's hands holding the pohaku ku'i, the Kohaku Ku'iai. And this is to remind us, especially for Native Hawaiians, that there's spirituality in our food, that it's not just something to buy and to cook, but that our food connects us to things that are important to us. It connects us to our family history. It connects us to our genealogy. It connects us to the aina that we walk on, and that the stories that our food brings with us are important. And it's really hard to tell the story of the hamburger through Jack in the Box, but the story about the recipe that your grandmother passed down to you, that's important stories to tell. And so how do we make sure that the part of food that feeds us spiritually is not lost? Because that's just important to the part of food that feeds us physically. And I'm sure I've gone over my time. And so thank you very much for listening to my story. And was mahalo to Tammy, who has also been a teacher for me for many years too.
Thank you so much, Auntie Kaiu. We really appreciate all that. I'm sure there's so many things that people were thinking about. I was thinking about so many, the rainbow that we're going to take home. Thank you so much, everyone. We're going to take a brief break before we transition to the cooking demonstration with Auntie Tammy.
Okay, well, we're so grateful to have Auntie Tammy here this morning. Auntie Tammy is a chef, cultural practitioner. She's been in the field for a number of decades with sharing our aikupuna, our traditional, our kupuna foods. She currently is does the Cater for You program. She works out of Honolulu Community College's kitchen there. Auntie Tammy is also from the Windward side. I'm from Waiahole, and she was one of the first. Everybody goes to Waiahole Poi Factory now to go and get their fill of Hawaiian food, but Auntie Tammy was the first to, bring back Waiahole Poi Factory as a place to be able to cater and cook food. So Auntie Tammy has she does so many things. Every time we go to events and Auntie Tammy has made food, we're like, yes. So exciting. And she also was just honored in 2024 with the Papa Olulukahi Ka'anohi Award. So just really blessed and honored that she was willing to share her ike, her mana'o on how to, feed ourselves with the best food that we have. So mahalo, Auntie Tammy.
Yes, mahalo for reminding me my humble beginnings at Waiahole Poi Factory for sure. But for today, for our event today, we all talking about nutrition, right? And so I get to show you guys how to cook luau stew. And in the luau stew is actually chicken and ulu with the luau leaves, yeah. For me, I always say it's easy because I do it every single day. For others, it can be a task. So I'm hoping the goal today is to really show you guys how simple it actually is, and that there's resources out there to buy already cooked products, so like the cooked luau, cooked ulu, and you gotta just put it all together. Okay, so we're going to start the cooking process, and so we mahalo this cooking space. Yeah, it's a really nice kitchen to be cooking in, and for me, the most important is always making sure your equipment, right? But at home, we do our best, and we work with what we get around us at home. So fortunate this place get nice things. So we start off cooking. We'll cook the chicken first, yeah. So this is just not lily oil, but macadamia nut oil, a little bit, yeah.
Do you have your favorite go-to macadamia nut oil?
Well, so when you have friends on Hawaii Island that listen to you, really enjoy using so.
What if you had other types of oil?
I just say buy them, whatever store you guys go to. There's a lot of different brands, but you choose. I like locally processed things, right? So we want to support local, so buy local as best as can. Not everything that labels with Hawaiian name or anything is guaranteed a local thing. So just check out, read the label, right? So we're heating up the oil. I would add in the garlic. So this is 2 tablespoons of garlic. So you can stop the smell. So I hope everybody can hear me because whoever watching, I cannot see you. So this is amazing, yeah. You know, technology. So this is already cut up boneless skinless chicken. Yeah. So you guys know how all of this is gonna be, right? Just keep moving on. Yeah, right on. Yeah.
So you know what my mom always tells me when she's cooking, you always got to make sure you have good, positive
Energy.
energy because all of that is going to go into your food.
Yeah.
Is
So
that something that you?
absolutely. I mean, if you know how to cook, because it ain't gonna happen, right? I mean, because whatever you put in transfers to the person in kitchen. What you gonna, you know, you gonna pass on your energy, your mana, all of that through your hands of cooking, right? And we just, for us guys, as Kanaka especially, and in our household, it's always important to share those things, especially with our young generation, so people we don't forget. And we have to talk about it. I think that's important. Like, how you was raised, what did your parents do? What did your great grandparents, your parents, Um, for me, it's super important because I'm a very generational business. So I'm the owner of the business, but I still have my dad, who I learned all of these skills from. I had some schooling, CCC, 1987, Pensacola Street campus. So before I went to Diamond Head, I was still there, and I was already a mom in '87. I already had my 2 sons, and luckily I had my parents, and my grandparents, my grandma and my grandpa took care of my baby. My older son was already in preschool, and my parents paid for me to go back to school.
Wow.
Generational is important, right? Everybody in your Ohana, your circle is important. And today, I'm a mom of 11. I get 24 grandkids.
Oh.
One great granddaughter.
Woo.
Amazing, right? So
Yes.
really lucky.
Mahalo ke akua.
Yeah, and absolutely, and you guys may think, oh, she just keep making plenty kids. Well, what's easy, I just add water and they're all okay, So, and that's a true story. Yeah, I mean, I love having my big family. The bigger the pot, the more we get to feed. Um, my business is basically my husband and I, our kids, our grandkids work for me. And not all 11 kids. Some shows no, that's not where we want to be. So, but I have 2 sons that help out in the business, 3 sons that actually help out in the business, and then I have my grandkids.
Wow, that's a legacy.
Legacy.
Mhm.
And from little, we let them come in the kitchen, right? We let them use the knife, and so, and let them be around in the kitchen so they see what's going on. You think they're not paying attention, but they're actually paying attention. Okay, so you get to see the chicken pretty brown. I would add in some of the liquid, right? Just to get it covered a little bit. So who said you all still gonna take long time to cook? Well, if you're gonna cook for 200 people, like we did
Like
this
today.
morning,
Yes.
yeah, you gotta start a little bit earlier, but we have pre-cooked the luau yesterday, right? So but we cook 20-pound bags. We don't just do 2 pounds. we do 20-pound bags. So it takes us a little bit, takes a good hour for the luau to cook. If you get good stove, good heat, and you know what you're doing.
And so is it kind of a low heat and you cook, or what's your, I mean, I know when you're cooking for bulk, it may be a little bit.
The most important thing is the amount of water. So
Mhm.
yeah, so and then you cut up all your luau instead of just putting them in whole, right? Then it just cooks down a little bit quicker, but you kind of walk away from your stove when you're cooking luau.
And you,
Once burned, you're
you're
done.
done. Yes.
You
I
cannot-
burned luau before,
Yeah.
and I tried to hide it, and my family is like, "You
No.
burnt the luau," and I was like, "Ah."
Yeah, it's really hard to come back.
Yes.
From
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so you failed that.
I did. I did. You know, go ahead.
This is the cooked luau, right? That we get. This is 2 pounds of cooked. This one has no liquid, so we drain out all our liquid. So this is only the luau. Okay.
You know,
That's why it's super thick, yeah.
I hear sometimes people will use baking soda for their luau. What is, I mean, my mom never taught me to do that. I've never done that. What is?
Everybody says, down a little bit more, this and not that, and everybody gets their reason. That's such a no-no to me.
Mhm.
Like, we need it at its natural form. We don't need baking soda chemical in our, yeah, I know what you, right? And then we don't need this to look fluorescent green.
Yes, it changes the color.
You don't even want to try and blowing us up. I don't know. But I definitely, that's something that we've never learned or
Yes.
done in our Ohana. So
Yeah.
we don't do it. I see people do it, and they all have their own reasoning why. To me, like Etika you was sharing, that is true form still yet,
Mhm.
right? All I did was put water and cook them, put akai, and then and that's all I did. I did not need to add in anything else. Even at the salt content when you're cooking, you don't oversalt because you kind of come back from that,
Yeah.
right? If you oversalt your food, so you go in moderation, you go a little bit at a time because it's better you cannot take it away.
Yep.
You
Yep.
can only add to it. So we're gonna let that kind of get blended together because it's cooked down already. Only fast, yeah. So this is 2 pounds of luau, 2 pounds of chicken in here. We'll add in the unu last, but right here is just chicken bouillon dried, yeah, chicken stock,
Mhm.
yeah. So you just put it in a little bit at a time. The measurement in this container is actually 2 tablespoons, but we might not need that much.
Mhm.
Yeah, so just keep adding. It's better than putting too much and then come back.
No.
So, yep. How do you cook luau? You actually have to boil. Just boil, cut them all up. Yeah, roll the leaf up, chop them all up. Let the water come to boil, then you add in. But you always make sure the thing is covered with water. Yeah, and then you have to strain the water at the end. Yeah, so it takes a little bit, right? So what the key is know your grower, know who growing your luau, because some luau is harder than others, right?
Mhm.
You gotta know your farmers. You gotta know. I mean, we um, purchase from Paco Ibi in Kanyohe. Yeah, so they sell them already made up, already cooked for you. You don't need to even cook them. It's cooked. You can buy them in 2-pound bags. And then another farmer across guys, I know everybody know the Wongs in Kahalu, right?
Mhm.
Wong's farm.
Yep.
Because we buy 20-pound bags anyway. And Mr. Wong, we love visiting Mr. Clifford Wong. He's moving up in age, and but then we always go home with extra stuff like squash from him. But when I grew up buying luau, right? And what gotta go pick them up and stuff. And so your relationship building with your partner and the people that you trust with the food, and growing your food, like we all have to do that. And if we don't, um, it's difficult, and we gotta support the luau guys because without them, no more wow.
Exactly.
Right? All the
Exactly.
farmers. I mean, if we don't have them, we're not gonna have this food. So keep the ono, right?
Yeah.
Always be ono for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the key. Be ono for it, right? Because once we stop being ono for this, they're gonna pour cement. And then it's all gonna go away.
Right.
Once we lose Haloa, you will lose us.
Right.
As Kanaka.
Right.
So we need to be the caretakers. And my kuleana is, I'm not the grower, I'm not the farmer, but I'm the person that feeds a lot of people. So my kuleana will be, is okay. Then I gotta support them, right? I gotta in turn buy straight from them. Right? Keep that relationship. Okay? So as you guys can see, this is almost ready. Okay? You just gonna let them cook down a little bit longer, just a little bit.
And then as Auntie Caillou was saying,
Yeah.
like having it grown from our Aina that shares our water, shares our wind, shares our rain, that's important.
But you shared that also.
Yes.
That we privilege because this is what the Queen did for us.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and we get to stand in this place, in this Aina right here in the middle of Kapa'ako, you know, and be able to talk about Me'ai Hawaii and the importance of the nutrition for cancer,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's not about waiting. It's about how we take care of ourselves prior to finding out that we do have cancer.
Right.
So if we can take care of ourselves and be a little bit healthier, we get better chance. But then, for me personally, on this cancer journey, it's just beginning because we were just informed our 20-year-old grandson has cancer 2 weeks ago, and he has already started his chemotherapy. So I was able to have the conversation about his diet with him and spend a moment with him, like, okay, grandson, what's your diet like? He's 20 years old. I know it comes with a lot of dry food, right? And I was like, okay, he said, well, damn, the doctor said, eat my comfort food. I said, so what is comfort food to you and me? It's two different things.
Yes.
Grandson. So can we agree to, because I want to help you. This is my conversation with him, is I want to help you. And I cannot change what's going on right now, but I can help you through your cancer journey. So I offered him to, okay, let's sit down. Let's change a little bit at a time. Not just say, kid, you cannot have this, this, and this, and that, and this is what you have to do. You have to listen to grandma, you gotta do everything I say. I didn't want that conversation. What I wanted him to be in agreement is that he was willing to make small changes as he's going through his journey. So we agreed. What we came up with is that, okay, so Taco Bell. I'm like, Taco Bell, really? And well, and I said, okay, okay, can we do that once a week? Okay, grandma. I was like, no Tommy Jack in a box. He go, well, okay, let's pick one drive-through then. Can we do that? And he's like, okay. I said, okay, so maybe this week you gotta go Jack in a box, and then next week you go Taco Bell. But then let's change other things that's happening. Like, okay, I can cook. I will make it well stew. I will make the pho. I can steam all for you. I will make them all for you, and all gonna be well. All you gotta do is pop them in a microwave and ready for you.
Because you can freeze it all, like what you were saying, right?
And then here comes my son. He said, "No, mom, make plenty so we all can eat."
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So again, but then that's the key to it, right? If everybody eating the same thing, then it's
Easier. Yes.
So I agree with my son, and I said, okay, so let's do this family style pack, right? So we've been just slowly adding it. At least we agreed to 3 times a week. He's gonna be eating medicine food.
Food is medicine.
Right?
Yes.
Food is medicine. The other days, 4 other days, he can choose, and hopefully we get him to the point when he's making better choices.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So again, it takes the whole family for him to be healthier. It takes all of us to want this food so our farmers can, continue to grow and feed us, and we get to stand over here and make luau stew today at the Cancer Research Center, in Kaka'ako, that is given to us by our queen.
Yeah.
Right? So we can really be full circle. So I know I talked to you spoke, but
We're almost there.
yeah, so we're super there already. So the unu is already cooked. It's cut up, and then I freeze them.
Is it steamed or boiled?
It's
Steamed. Okay.
Yeah, so we actually steam, then we clean all the skin off and stuff, and then we quarter them, put them in the freezer. So as you guys can see, I don't put a little bit more water. Yeah. So all I have to do is bring the ulu up into heat it up, right? It's ready already. Yeah. What you guys never see me put in here? Salt. Yeah. Okay. Why I never put salt is because the chicken bouillon,
Has salt.
But it's already, normally high in sodium, and stuff like that. But pa'akai would be the
Because
one
that's
that
what
I
you
use.
cooked for the luau, right?
Yeah.
You did
Yeah.
before you.
Yeah, and I already had a little bit salt in the luau when you cook it.
Yeah,
when
a little bit.
When you cook it down, you just add a little bit, making sure. Salt. Yeah, Hawaiian salt. Hawaiian salt. Yeah. So when we say pa'akai, right? You're not,
Not
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah. We're not doing the shaker bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're like sprinkle, sprinkle. Yes.
Um, yeah. 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 Well, that's
Skin on the ulu.
yeah. We steam them with the skin on. Yeah, and easier for clean.
I was gonna say, because otherwise you gotta.
Auto milk.
Yes.
Auto milk to get all sticky.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You understand?
Everybody, I guess, has their. Yeah. Everybody.
I mean, nobody. There's no wrong answer. If you shaka, it's shaka.
Yeah.
If you get that attitude of, oh my gosh, I never, 2 tablespoons, but I use, 3, like, again, if you shaka, it's shaka. Right?
Yes.
Like, no, be scared. That's the whole thing too. And encourage yourself to try it, right? Because the best recipes, I'm gonna tell you, is made by mistakes. Yeah? I make them all the time, that's why. Yeah. So right here, we get chicken luau stew already done.
Yay! Look at that. Mahalo, Auntie Tammy.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So, mahalo kainoa for braving and bringing me and Auntie Caillou.
Oh, I'm so blessed. Thank you.
Listening to our own cancer journeys, Auntie Caillou, definitely she'll, again, she told her story and how she was able to bring her village together. For me, I am that village.
Yes.
For my gang, right? So, I do this for Lahui every single day. I
Yes.
cook for our Kupuna meal program, so Hawaii Meals on Wheels, I'm their biggest vendor. And,
Meals on
yeah,
Wheels for
Meals on Wheels,
Kupuna.
Hawaii Meals on
Yeah.
Wheels. But then also, I do all the restricted diets for them.
Right. Yes.
So, so it's a big deal for me. That's everyday work, 7 days a week. That Kupuna Meals gotta get out.
Because Kupuna gotta eat too, and they gotta eat well.
Yeah, and but if I can honor them by giving them our Kupuna food, our Kupuna crops back onto their plates at least 3 times a week, then I'm shocked.
Yes.
Right? Then I'm doing my part in allowing our kupuna to enjoy food, to make it as healthy as possible for them, and to give them their honor back.
Yes.
Right? Because,
Yes.
What if our kupuna no pan? No more the luxury of a stove and
Right.
cook for them and they're on their own. So that's what we have to think about.
Yeah.
Right? That's my kuleana. on an everyday. You know, and besides taking care of my own family, I take care of our lovely.
Yes.
And the cooking that I get to do, and so I'm grateful for that. Every day being called upon to Auntie, can you,
Just like how I was like, Auntie, can you come here on October 4th, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just got a phone call last night. One of our friends, they having a baby. Never had now yet, but then, Auntie, can you make duals too? So when, the mommy power her now, then she can have duals too.
Yes.
So again, how powerful is our food? Absolutely. It's the best food for us guys. Even, when we're not at our best.
Yes.
And, I mean, when you think of cancer, it's such a hard subject to fathom when you don't know, right? Especially what those answers are. But I mean, now knowing that the cancer center exists, being educated in the last half an hour about the place, I'm hopeful for our own Ohana to be able to tap into the services, right, and to ask more questions and hopefully, for us guys, there are great outcomes.
Yes.
And as that journey continues, and as we all people have to go through this cancer journey, that we all can be there for each other.
Yes. Yes.
I willing to cook for anybody, everybody, as best as I can. Check my calendar, but it's always busy, but always get time for say yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah, because it doesn't just, that starts here. I start work in the morning at 4 o'clock every single day.
Ooh.
And, I mean, before I came here, it's okay, we got to open a deli.
Yeah.
I got to go do one whole Oliva.
Yeah.
150 pesos for that. And then I got to come over here.
Yeah.
Right? So that's just the beginning of my day, because Kainoa makes it 8 o'clock.
Saturday.
But it's all good. But
Yeah. Yeah.
mahalo.
No, mahalo, everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you all for being here. Hopefully, you had a really delicious chicken luau stew experience, as we all did. Thank you again, Auntie Tammy. We had received a lot of questions online regarding when people had signed up. We always provide an opportunity for people to ask questions. And so a lot of the questions that came up initially, we hopefully have answered through some of the posters, but we wanted to provide an opportunity for just kind of a panel discussion to see if people had questions. And so everyone pretty much is listed up here, but I think maybe we'll just do a short introduction starting with you, Basha.
Aloha. Greetings. My name is Naivasha. Most people call me Vasha, and I have a farm in Waimanalo called Get Ready Farm. We specialize in all red veggies, blooms, and herbs. And if you're looking for me, I'm over there with dark opal basil for eating. Okay.
Thank you. Dr. Jamie Fukui, I'm a breast medical oncologist and a researcher here at the University of Hawaii Cancer Center.
My name is Joanne Hayashi. I'm the president and co-founder of Breast Cancer Hawaii. We're a local nonprofit. We also run the Community Scientist Program here, and I'm also a member of the Patient Advocacy Council at the UH Cancer Center. Oh, I'm a breast cancer survivor. Forgot that context.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Marie Kainoa Filkowski-Ravilla. I am the director of the Nutrition Support Shared Resource here at the University of Hawaii Cancer Center, and I'm also a registered dietitian. Mahalo for being here.
Aloha, Tammy Smith. So I'm the owner of a new business called Cater for You. I'm located at Honolulu Community College. So I do kupuna meals for Hawaii Meals on Wheels, catering, and I run a deli at the college. But my background is actually, I'm the daughter of Herbert Ho, who is an Aipono Loea.
Aloha, Ka'iolani Odom. I am a nutritionist. I'm the executive director for Hawaii Good Food Alliance. I'm her dad's favorite daughter and a breast cancer survivor.
Thank you all so much. So we did get a lot of questions that came in initially, and a lot of them, hopefully, we've answered through the Mythbusters poster. We do have a lot of information surrounding here, but we wanted to provide an opportunity for people live and online to ask questions regarding anything, and everything about nutrition. It might be a little bit daunting, so I thought, if people want to raise their hand, they can. We have a mic to go around. People online, we're monitoring that as well. And we're going to take about 5 or 10 minutes to answer some questions before we go ahead and break out and have the rest of the session today. Any burning questions that have come up? Oh yeah, go ahead, Ruby. We have a.
Knowing that most of us have had cancer or have cancer, it is such a journey. And one of the things I know that helped me is information, education. And all of you have a specialty of what you do. And what I'd like to know is there going to be maybe some list of resources we could go to? Like if we're looking for someone for healing, looking for an organic farm, or looking for something that will help us, each of us, so that if we have something to refer to, it's like if something came up, oh, I wish I had that help, that support, that resource that, not all of us are privy to. So anything like that would be helpful on our journey, whether we've had cancer or who knows, we may have in the future, but at least we have something to rely on and go to, a go-to informational place.
I think that's a beautiful question. I think that is something that probably we can look into from a more, I guess, Jamie, you may have more insight as to what's been done with compiling information that touches upon lots of different aspects of the journey, not only for those who are going through it, but also their family and caregivers and support system.
Yeah, so I am going to turn it over to Joanne for some breast cancer specific things because I know she's very holistic on supporting that. But we do have resources that we've compiled that are at our Cancer Center table, as well as resources from our Hawaii Cancer Consortium. So we have resources from Queens, HPH, Kuakini, HMSA about more generally nutrition. But if there's something very specific, please email us, please call us, because this community, that's what we're wanting to provide for you, is that resource. So if there's something that you can't find either online or at these tables, we're here. And so I don't know, Joanne, you have a lot of resources available for breast cancer patients specifically.
Thank you. Yeah, we do have additional resources back at our table there for a site that we often refer people to for healthy recipes and information regarding specific ingredients. Outside of breast cancer, we're actually working with Dr. Fukui on a project called Survivorship Hub. And so we plan to launch a online collection of resources specifically, because there's just so much, right? And so we're just trying to help pare it down for people. We're building an advisory board that includes patients, caregivers, so that we're providing just curated information that might make your navigation easier as you go through the information. So that is in the works, and that is pan cancer, not just breast cancer. That is in the works.
I just want to add too that I think that we can do a better job of integrating services. And so what you'll probably find is a list of Western services, but there's not going to be cultural services. And so not just for Native Hawaiians, but all of our ethnic groups, who are the ones in their community that are trusted and hold that knowledge. And maybe I'm looking at Kainoa.
Oh, I think I agree 100%, Auntie Cut that there's that whole aspect that maybe could be, a real way to contribute to the knowledge that's available in the community. And also, as I think about all of the Ike and Mana'o that Auntie Cut and Auntie Tammy shared about how to get our foods and access to that. I mean, I guess with Hawaii Good Food Alliance, are there resources for how to access, where to go for your farmers and distributors for some of the certain foods that, I mean, I think ultimately we want to uplift those organizations and resources that are already in the community.
We have some. We don't. It's not an exhaustive list. It's usually, but like Tammy just cooked with luau from Kako, Evie. Where's the list of where you can get all of those? Who are the chefs? We met Ikaika, talked to Ikaika earlier, who's a functional medicine chef. Like, is there a list of these types of people? I think I would love to see a list like that. So I think that would be something that would be really helpful.
Thank you. Other questions?
I can do double.
Okay, good. You hold it.
Okay.
A few years ago, we participated in a discussion about iPads to give to new cancer patients. Was that ever finished?
So I'm sure there are probably several studies that are using iPads. I'm not familiar with the one that you're mentioning, but yes, the one I think that you're mentioning, it is either finished to accrual or we're developing all of the results. So thank you very much. We can get back to you on that.
Shoes. I'm running.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. This question is for Auntie Tammy. Several people asked me, "Are you giving out the recipe for Spam?" Oh, that was excuse me. Excuse me. I'm sorry, wrong Auntie. Thank you. Very much appreciated.
Yes, she will forward it to Kainoa and Kainoa will get it out. Thank you, Gina, for asking that beautiful question. Okay, we have one more over here.
How can we better educate our staff, for the for chemo and things? Because I know my doctor, my oncologist, he was against going to salad bars and things. And when I go for chemo treatments and I'd have low blood pressure that I would have to stay for the IV, the saline IV, they told me, next time, eat a bag of potato chips before you come in. And it's just so, I mean, so if they can educate the doctors and other staff better.
Yeah, absolutely. And we really appreciate that question. I think it goes to the heart of what the speakers were talking about earlier is like we don't get a lot of education in this area. There are a lot of the health systems that do have dietitians that are available. And so often it will need a referral. So if somebody needs to have for diabetes or for cancer treatment, they can see a registered dietitian, which is usually a little bit better at describing what's important when. But I completely agree. And so we are hoping to do that. I do work with students as well. JABSUM is right across the way. So that is something I know that they're implementing more in medical school and residency. But yeah, for our clinicians now, it's really important. And so I'm hoping to have this be shared. It is going to be available on our website as well. But part of this is also for awareness, but empowerment. Ask your physician, ask your clinicians, is this really what I need to be putting in my body? And maybe reaching out to some of the cultural practitioners that we've met today and some of these connections to really make sure that we're getting a holistic, healthy approach to cancer treatment.
Well, and I want to say for anyone out there that is a clinician, it's a little expensive, I will say, but every year at the Culinary Institute of America, they do a conference called Healthy Kitchens, Healthy Lives. And it's a lot of speakers from doctors to nutritionists to physical fitness people. But with every talk, there is a food demo. And so there's an internist that's also a chef. And there's Linda Shu, who's an medicine doctor that also wrote a book. And then throughout the program, even if you didn't get to go to one talk, but they serve you all the food that they made, and it's all healing foods and healthy foods. And so there's about 300 or 400, and 80% are doctors that attend that session. We're trying to bring something like that here to Hawaii. We haven't quite got there yet, but anyone that is a clinician and would like to go to a conference that's really based on a kitchen alongside your practice or teaching about food, then I would recommend that.
You know, that's beautiful. I just want to highlight Dr. Vanessa Wong in the corner right there. She is starting to integrate culinary medicine into the JABSOM program. And so I think those are examples that we're mentioning of trying to have food as medicine. And so just really honored that she's been able to use our kitchen to be able to train that next generation of clinicians to have that understanding. So mahalo, Dr. Wong.
Hi, my name is Karen, and I course doing it the wrong way. I started my cancer journey here with breast cancer as an older patient, and Hawaii has been my home for 10 years. So being an East Coaster and of Eastern European descent, we talk about some of those. And Ante, you talked about the cultural foods that help support us, and for me, making that transition for some of them, and also being a nurse, of course, you have to research what I can eat, what I can't eat. At this point in my life, probably ate everything I shouldn't have eaten up until this point, though I don't believe that's always the cause of cancer, because I think there's a genetic scientific part of that as well. But my question is, I was looking up fennel tea. And fennel tea was something given from birth, which is help for nausea and vomiting. And then you read, well, don't take it if you have breast cancer, or the licorices. So I guess if as you're collecting resources, maybe on a list that you can, factor fiction and everything in moderation. But here you are, thinking that these things which did help now are a cause of a specific cancer. Maybe they're not, maybe they are. And I know it takes a lot of research, but that type of where to go for the right place for resources for maybe a 90% probability it's okay, I think would be very helpful, especially as we like for folks or myself who are now getting integrated into the foods here that the beautiful island has to offer us for health and survival. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It comes up a lot, actually. And so I usually refer people to an integrative oncology resource at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MSKCC Herbs. It's a collection of integrative oncology specialists, researchers, and they just provide a library of herbs. So you can, write in turmeric and some of the information we know about it, the anti-inflammatory properties, but also some of the research that's being done in cancer. And so some of them will say, be careful because it can interact with some of the medications you're taking and it will go through those different pathways. There is a discussion for healthcare providers, so it's a little bit more in depth. And there's also a discussion for patients. So that's usually the first go-to resource for things like that, but it's not, it's a library. It doesn't say that you should or shouldn't do something. It's just more for information. So for some of the things that might have estrogen properties, for estrogen-driven breast cancer or ovarian or uterine cancer, that might be something to shy away from. And again, these are all studies that usually are correlative. So it's not that one thing caused it, but something that we might need to avoid or only do in moderation. Yeah. Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center Herbs. So if you just Google that, it'll come up as an online resource. MSKCC. Yeah.
There it is. Now I was just wanting to ask, say as an example, this girl just found out that she had cancer, but she doesn't know what type it is. And my question is there very many different types of breast cancer?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. And Breast Cancer Awareness Month, this is really important to understand that there aren't just one type, and it really depends on three different receptors. So we look at two hormone receptors, estrogen and progesterone. And then the third thing that we look at is HER2. So depending on those receptors, we'll figure out the subtype of breast cancer, and that does help our treatment. The most common is hormone driven. About 75% of women are going to have hormone-driven breast cancer.
Okay, and that's the reason for the mammograms, yeah? It's
So
very important
mammograms
that you
is
do
a
that.
great way to screen for all kinds of breast cancer. So not
Doesn't
just the
matter which-
hormone-driven kind, but for the triple negative kind or the HER2-driven kind. And it's a way for us to look at the breast, see if there's any abnormalities, and if there are, to do a biopsy.
Yeah, and there's other tests that you take too as well. Like, I don't know, do you take a MRI to find out if you can't see something in the mammogram?
Right.
Is
So
there another test that you can take to
yes.
find out what it is?
No, thank you so much for these questions, Patricia. So mammograms are the first line for screening, but if they feel or see something, then usually an ultrasound. If it's really difficult to find, we'll sometimes do an MRI. And for women who are high risk, who might have a family history, or for other reasons, very dense breasts, they might have a screening MRI done. So sometimes we do both screening mammogram and MRIs.
Yeah, because that's what happened to me. And I
Thank you
just
for
wanted to
sharing
share
that.
with you. God bless you. Thank you.
Hi, I had brought this question up to the ladies as I was coming in. I was treated 32 years ago at City of Hope for stage 3 metastatic breast cancer. I went through in fact, Dr. Nueno knows my oncologist, Dr. Samlo. And when the nutritionist came around, she gave me a list of things that I was not to do. And I picked up that which was delicious, by the way, that dish that you made, that she was using a non-stick fry pan. I was told to get rid of all of my non-stick cookware because of the cadmium, the lead, the PFEs and the PFOEs. No nitrates or nitrites, so that eliminates spam and a lot of other things. And also, until my linings grew back, I wasn't to use a microwave for at least 6 months because a microwave does not kill the bacteria that could be in the food. And I was just wondering what your thoughts are on that, because I've been using stainless steel for 32 years and I'm still here. So I was just wondering.
My thoughts about that.
Yeah,
That's
because
what this place went. That's what they had in the kitchen over here.
well, no,
So,
I knew
but-
it wasn't your pan. I
Yeah,
knew you were
yeah.
using theirs.
Because
I don't think they should have nonstick cookware in
the
kitchen
stew
at
that
the
you guys
cancer
had
center.
from outside actually was cooked in stainless steel, right? Because I gotta cook this high in a pot, and not just one small frying pan. But what the question can be too, what you gonna do if that's all you get, right? Because not all of us get one list. Not all of us can go buy one new something for cooking, right? We gotta do the best we can, right? So if you take, yeah, so I mean, we can get the list and do all the things that they're telling us. How much 100% guarantee? Nothing is 100% guarantee, right? My attitude is, if that's what you get in your kitchen, you gotta use them, right? We're going to do the best for follow the list given by the doctors or somebody and all the information right around us, guys. But when we stay stuck in one corner by ourselves trying to take care of our own self, we got to do what we got to do. So you're lucky you got the list long time ago, 32 years, and hopefully we can update those lists and maybe Cancer Research Center can change the pots in our kitchen. Yeah, I think so. I only the second cook that went cook over here. So
That is true.
so we'll
That
put them on a list. Go recommendation: do not buy Teflon kind stuff for the kitchen over here. And we're going to fix that tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
Thank you.
I know. I keep
This is
telling
why
Kainoa.
feedback is so important.
I keep telling Kainoa, can you please not call it the metabolic kitchen? Like, who the heck wants to come cook in a metabolic kitchen? We need a new name. But I hear what you're saying. I try as best as I can to not use nonstick, but I will say that I do use it once in a while. I order and it's expensive. Like Tammy's right. We can't all afford it. Extrema cookware that uses a non-chemical base, but it's like $100-something for each piece. So it's not stainless steel. It's another type of stuff. And so, like Tammy's saying, you do what you can for certain pieces. I like this brand because it's all made without any type of chemicals at all. But I use stainless steel too, and I have used a Teflon coated pan once in a while. You just do the best you can, like she said, in what your circumstances are.
Aloha. Oh, the food was really on mahalo nui. I have a question for Nai. Where can we purchase your products?
All right. So I am here across the way at Japson every other Monday. All the details are actually on our website, which is on this basil container. The website's listed. So I am here with a small market every other Monday morning from 8 to 10:30 a.m. You can order food online and I will bring it here. And you can just pick a bag up and go. So I'm trying to make it easy for everyone. I also offer food in Kailua as well on Sunday pickups, for Sunday pickups. And then there are some markets in the area that will also be carrying my food. Or you can come out to Waimanalo and volunteer or get it straight from me there. While I have the mic, and I just had a question for actually everyone in the room because I hear education. You guys want to be educated more and more. I have a question. How do you want to be educated? And I just want to go through a couple forms and I need your hands raised because I'm curious. Do you want it on Instagram? Just raise your hand. Okay, do you want your information education on Facebook? Do you want it via email, like a newsletter? Okay. Do you want pamphlets and brochures? And do you just want it on a website and to somehow find or come across that website? Okay, and I asked that question because as facilitators, it's really hard to get information to you. So like my website, I have a lot of information on it, but then it's the in-between of marketing of getting it to you. So understanding, is it through Instagram and social media? Is it through talking to you here? Do you need a pamphlet? And so I think this is just more of my own poll to understand how to get the information to you all so that everyone's able to get the education that they want.
Hello, hello. I remember in my journey, at the very beginning, I had asked my oncologist about nutrition. She said, I'm going to put you in touch with our nutritionist and this was at Polymomi. And so some guy called me and he gave me information and I know that he just read from. I feel at that point would be a good place to have your information. Like, is there a way for you to get that information to our doctors? So when we ask for nutrition information, they can at least share that, you know? Because if it wasn't for us being here, how else would we know about you and what you do? Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to respond to your question. Usually I'm on Instagram, so if I see something and then I go, if there's a website I can connect with, then I'll be in that website forever. So if you have the website and
yeah, no,
on your
generally,
website-
I mean, I understand how to use the Instagram on my end, but I know it's not reaching everyone. And I also know the algorithm's not reaching everyone intentionally. So then do I need to Instagram and Facebook and send newsletters out? And if that's going to reach everyone so they can come to the website, then I think it's just about adapting that ecosystem across the board and figuring out how to get the information in more of a printed material with maybe a QR code to more of the facilitators and doctors and physicians in that way to just say, hey, here's what we do offer on our websites. It's not a cure-all, it's just how to use our products. So for me as a farmer, I want to give you all the listed benefits that I can and all of the recipes that I can and ways to be curious about your food, because that's really the journey with food, is less of, is it going to help me or heal me, and more so about, am I curious about it because this plant is growing and finding life just with sun, water, and a little bit of nourishment. And so I need those nourishments in my body. I need that in order to make me better. And so the antioxidants in that, the benefits of natural food are really great to keep you alive, to keep you vibrant, and to keep you happy. And there's not a cure-all, it's just more so of consuming more of it.
Thank you. A few more questions.
Good morning. I have a question. My friend was a cancer survivor. She had mastectomy on both sides, and then she never had mammogram done after that, and it came back. What is your advice? Does she need mammogram after mastectomy on both sides, or what does she have to do? Because she found out on the mirror one day and she saw the bump. She said,
Yeah.
I asked her, did you do mammogram? She said, no, I have both breasts removed. What are they checking?
Yeah, thank you for that. Usually after someone has had their breast removed, they don't do mammograms because there's no breast tissue left. But it's important to follow with their clinician at least every 3 to 6 months to look for recurrence. And so if she saw something and notified her clinician, that was the right thing to do. We are learning more and more research-wise if there are better ways of finding recurrence earlier. We're not quite there yet with blood tests. Right now, it's just seeing your doctor, doing a physical exam, but certainly lifestyle modifications with eating healthy is going to be part of that. Thank you.
Hello, Mike Kako, panel. I really appreciate, having this opportunity to just see this space. It's beautiful. So my name is Ikaika. I'm a personal chef and certified functional medicine and health coach. And I'm asking this question on behalf of Dr. Thomas Seyfried. Why is the rapid fermentation of blood glucose displayed on all major cancers not an opening for patients to use the ketogenic diet to replace some glucose of non-fermentable ketone bodies targeting metabolism?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's very specific to certain types of research. And I'm not as well aware of the fermented glucose story, but I do know there are researchers and research being done in that area. In general, as a health community, focusing on just one type of diet can be quite limiting. And we know, based on all the things that we discussed, having a very specific ketogenic diet for long term has its own implications and health effects. And so when we talk about research, we want to better understand what's happening on a molecular level, which is the question, with the glucose, but what is happening to the whole person. And so we do have to, of course, vet all of the research that's being done, not only in the lab, but also in people, and how that translates to populations and then diverse populations. And so I really do appreciate that question. I don't think I can answer it at this time, but it's a really good one. Thank you.
I just want to add that a lot of the research doesn't take into effect the Polynesian carbohydrates, which I believe to be some of the best in the world. And for years, Tammy and I have worked with her dad on traditional Hawaiian diet program, and people were eating kalo and uala and ulu at every meal, and their blood glucose was continually going down, and they were off medication and everything. And so I think that that's an area that we could also look into, is how do our Polynesian carbohydrate affect this?
I have a question. I have a question about the nutritionists, that I think they should include all the cultural practitioners, just, again, as a resource, because our, Western nutritionists don't really know. So list that there's others that they can go to, and that the doctor say, okay, look, here's a list for you. You pick out which ones you want. Okay.
I think that's something that they're going to work on, especially today, right? Today's presentation, it was actually about being Kanaka in this space too, right? So Kayu is Hawaiian, I'm Hawaiian, Kainoa is Hawaiian. We talk all the same language, We say the same things right across just the three of us, right? In the work that they do. They get a little bit more letters after their name than me, but we all know the same thing because culturally we can connect. And culturally, we've learned this from birth. This not just happen overnight, and we never go school for that, right? Kaio brings up my dad a lot. That's where my education started, from home, when it comes to food and how valuable and how powerful our Kanaka food is. And she showed you guys her pyramid, right? And how full of Kanaka Mea'ai Hawaii was on there and how healthy it is for all of us. You guys just had one bowl luau stew. The same luau and cook inside there on a Teflon pan. But, not my fault, but what I'm getting at is we're all diverse culturally, but we all live in Hawaii. You guys all in here. When you step in on our aina, and I'm going to stand up because this is heavy. Kainoa started with this, that's why. When she told the story of the queen gifting this lands and how the queen's mana is still here. Ka'io talks about that, and I talk about that because the food that you guys got came from our aina today, right? I buy them from the farmer to the bowl. You guys just had that. So how much more clearer can we be about being Kanaka here in today's time, right? We're not talking about, chief of war time. We're talking about today how we can be part of the solutions and answers and the studies of cancer. Cancer is rampant out there, right? For all of us, and maybe everybody in this room is a cancer survivor. I just learned 2 weeks ago that we have one grandson, 20 years old, with blood cancer. What we doing as one family, right? The first question I would ask him, grandson, how's your diet? What you eat? I know it's all drive-through. Taco Bell, Jack in the Box, McDonald's, but I got a chance to sit with him and talk to him about this, about what I feel, about what I do. I said, grandson, you know what I do, right? And about go work with me too, And I said, can we agree to have poi 3 times a week? Can we agree to change your diet 3 times a week? And that eventually, 7 days a week, he's going to take care and eat better food for himself, right? Because he's on that journey. All we can do is be part of his journey and help him along the way, but I cannot force him for change now. So the best question was, how's it? Grandma will help you. Yeah, I'll go help you get better, but we're going to take this slow on your terms. Yeah, tell me what you honor for. First thing he tell me, oh, I'll eat luau stew. Oh, for real? Yeah, oh, for real? Yeah, so shoot, let's do it. And I said, okay, I go make for you. I hear my son, Mom, make for our whole house so we all can eat with him. So that's another scenario of how we think. If we take care of the whole family, maybe my grandson get faster chance for survive. If we take care of our whole community, we get better chance for survive. If we take care of this whole space and our aina, we get better chance for survive. And that's what today's messages was, right? Because I never know about this place. I only knew on Monday because they didn't tell me come do on 5 o'clock news show. But, and I was like, oh, wow, get cancer place over here. And then they was like, Auntie, we can help you. So now I'm going to tap in these guys, right? So like Ka'io's journey, right? Bringing all her villages together, right? To make her bigger village to help her process and survive cancer. So that's what we all got to do as individuals. So I just wanted to say how important it is to remember where you stay, Number one, what aina you walking on? And don't forget, right? And what does this aina have to offer you? And we just need to make sure we can line all of our ducks up and take advantage of the information given today so we can move on to tomorrow.
Great. Thank you so
Mahalo,
much.
Tammy. And I just wanted to add one thing is that there are certain healthcare organizations that are starting to really recognize the benefit of integrating our cultural practices with our Western practices. So Aloha Care, they reimburse for Ipono. We have an Ipono program at KKV. They reimburse for Lomi Lomi. They reimburse for Ho'oponopono, which is conflict resolution in Western terms. There's other programs that Waimanalo has La'au Lapa'au practitioners and Lomi practitioners on site. And so it's also our job to advocate for these because without reimbursement, then the practitioners don't get to elevate their practice and to be in the medical setting. And so we all have to advocate for integrated services within our care.
Thank you. I think there was a question out back and then you. Online, sorry.
This is going to be from Claire online. She was asking if you guys have any tips for people living alone through their cancer treatment and if you have any specific community resources for support.
That's a really great question. I mean, we're coming here together to provide community, but for those people that don't have someone that they're living with, we want to be your resource. And we want to be your community. So we would be happy to send you all the information. We're really glad that you're joining us today online. And we want to be that for you. Susan's vision was for that. It's not just about the cancer treatment that you're getting, it's the whole person. It's the community, it's the awareness, the research, and emotional well-being. So thank you.
Hi, my name. Hello? Hello?
It should be on.
Hello? No?
Another one.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Two quick statements. I wanted to make sure that the sister gets her information on the big screen. So I don't want to waste the moment that if you have an Instagram or Facebook, that we should be able to look at it like right now. Because when we leave, we got other things on our mind. So
It's Get Ready Farm on everything. So yeah, Get Ready is and it's
so if
spelled
you
out.
have your
too.
phones, yeah, go to Get Ready. The other thing is, I wanted to follow up with what the auntie said about the food from the Aina. My parents are from West Africa, so I grew up eating food from our Aina. And so our fufu is like your poi, it's pounded. And so when I went through cancer here, I ended up having to cook my own healthy foods. And those were the comfort foods that I was talking with Kaino about last time, about going back to your culture and eating the comfort foods that you grew up with. I love the example you gave about 2 generations ago, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents were eating food like they were agricultural people, eating food from the ground. And we have gotten so comfortable with the nonstick pans and the ready-made meals that are high in things that are not good for us. And I think we're going to see a rise in cancer patients the more we get complacent with fast foods, ready-made things. And so returning to the Aina or going back to your culture, especially if you're not Hawaiian and you're not from here, so you're not used to the foods, go back to your foods that your parents used to cook for you, the foods that make you feel comfortable, but they were also good and nutritious for you. So all of us in here, either you've been touched with cancer, know somebody with cancer, and the more that things become convenient, the less that they become good for us. So I know it takes longer and it might take more money, but you're either gonna pay now or you're gonna pay later. So I'd rather pay now where I can cook my own food, see what I'm putting in the pot, rather than driving through, picking up some ready-made thing that I don't know who cooked it, so I don't know what kind of love they're putting in that pot. I don't know what kind of pot they're using. And I don't know what kind of seasons they're using. So I know it takes a long time, but let's get back to pounding our cassava, making our own foods, eating it together and sharing it with the community because that's how we learn from one another. So I'm really grateful to be a part of this and thank you for all of your mana'o. Thank you for everything.
Thank you so much for all those really wonderful questions. I wanted to just share one last thing before we break and do some of the poster sessions. We do have some information on the University of Hawaii Cancer Center table with a number that you can call. So if there are any questions you have that we didn't answer today, general questions, or if you wanted to donate, or if you had a patient-related question, clinical trial question, there are different numbers for that, and we can provide that to you. So thank you again so much for being here. Right now, we would like to provide the opportunity for you to meet one-on-one or in groups of people to go through the different posters. These are presented by our nutrition course services and other researchers here at the University of Hawaii Cancer Center. And then we'll be about 15 minutes, and then we'll have a brief wrap-up at the very end. Thank you. So we couldn't do this work, of course, without having a tremendous amount of support. And so I would like to, first of all, thank our donors, especially Peter Hirano here, for really making sure that this program is available to the community. Of course, we work with so many people in the community. The American Cancer Society was here, Breast Cancer Hawaii. We had a information table with HMSA, Hawaii Pacific Health, Queens Kuakini, which helped to provide some really important resources as part of our Hawaii Cancer Consortium. Kohua Farms, which helped to donate these watermelons. And then Get Ready, you saw earlier with Vasha, with the beautiful basil that was donated. As well as inline flooring. Joanna here, thank you for sharing this really important information. In addition, I don't do this work alone. We're here at the Cancer Center and we have a number of volunteers, not only the poster presenters who prepared these wonderful research information for us, but they also recorded it. So it's online for anyone else who wasn't able to make it or who wants to rewatch that. So please provide that to people if you're interested. In addition, I have to again thank our speakers. I know that Auntie Kai'u had to catch a plane, but Auntie Tammy is here. Thank you again for the wonderful cooking demonstration. Really appreciate you. Also, Kainoa, Dr. Ravella, and her whole team from the Nutrition Cancer Resource at the Cancer Center for guiding this. Our whole cancer community is really based from Susan's vision. And so she wanted to make sure that this was very community facing. And so we have some very special community scientists, Gina and Wendy, who helped vet all of these posters to make sure that they were community facing. So I want to especially thank them as well. The decorations with Lauren and Corinne, who really helped out with that. And then, of course, with our Cancer Care Committee, Michelle, who has led fearlessly to do this. We couldn't have done this without you. Our communications team as well, led by Esme, Bo, and Andrea. Thank you all so much. Our next event will be January 17th, and it will be focused on cancer caregivers, and we're hoping to really empower and to support them. Peter Hirano is going to be speaking at this event, and we would like to get as much feedback from you, other topics or things that you're interested in, by either filling out the survey, filling out the online link, grabbing one of us. Thank you so much for being here with us on a Saturday. Be well, eat healthy. See you soon.